Final Fantasy. It's the game everyone's talking about, right? Game of the year, some people are saying. It's had 10 out of 10s, 9 out of 10s. It's doing pretty well on the old Metacritic, right? But the game's a health hazard. Not only that, there's many things wrong with the game. It's nowhere near perfect. I won't even say it's great. It's okay. And I'll get to that in a minute. But the main problem with this game is it destroys your hand. I mean it. It will obliterate your thumb. See, the game's combat consists of just doing this. This is it. And it's a really fast-paced game. That's what you find yourself doing. Over and over, just hacking and slashing, just jamming square like your life depends on it, like faster than it takes to press circle to save Solid Snake's life in Metal Gear Solid 1. You will be tapping square like if you slow down, your heart will stop. Reminds you of the movie Speed, where if he slows down the bus, it's gonna blow up. So you find yourself just doing this frantically, faster and faster and faster and faster. And I'm telling you, man, by the time you're done, you have gaming claw. You're like this. Every boss fight, you're just in agony, right? My hand is in pieces after playing this game, to the point where I have to stop sometimes and switch and start doing this with my fingers. And I'm just frantically just doing this. The control layout is so, dominant on just pressing square. And it is a dumb hack and slash game. It is. It is. It's flashy, sure. You know, it's flamboyant as a Tengen Uzui attack from Demon Slayer. But it's simple, and it's just a bit too simple. You know, they really could have offered a bit more of a diverse sort of combat scheme, which requires you to press more than just square over and over again. Now, you can switch the control scheme to where R1, but that's the same issue. You're going to get problems with your finger. Look, I'm 37 years old, and I have quite fat hands. I'm sure if you're someone who's like 17 years old, it's not going to be an issue when you have these nimble little thumbs. But for my age, it's starting to cause me problems. I'm starting to have to slow it down a bit. But you know what? Outside of that, this game has problems. So let's talk about them, right? Everyone's saying how great it is. The side missions are an absolute joke in this game. The side missions couldn't be more mundane if they tried to be. It's literally, these are your side quests, right? You are Clive. Most heroic name ever, right? You're Clive. You're walking around looking like this. And I'm telling you, the side missions are, hey Clive, could you maybe take my eggs to the market? Hey Clive, could you just go find a scorpion tail? Hey Clive, could you go find me some leather? Hey Clive, they are the most dumb, mundane missions I've ever seen in a game. It's absolutely ridiculous. Another thing about this game is it's incredibly linear, man. I mean linear. It's straight A to B. You can't explore off the beaten path. There's literally nothing to explore. And the environment, all of it, is completely static. You can't interact with it. Right? Clive jumps up and down like he's in a game from the early 90s. It's ridiculous. It's like this. When you jump, he runs real slow. The game's not very immersive because it's so obvious you're playing a game. If you understand what I'm saying. Like, the world doesn't feel alive. It feels very, very artificial. And another example of that feeling artificial is the fact that the NPCs that you cross along your way, just the little NPCs who are sort of stood on a road or in a little village, well, they never move. They'll stand in that same spot. You could go back to a certain spot 20 hours later and they're in the exact same spot, right? But even worse is they all have one line of dialogue that's been recorded for them. So for example, this line isn't in the game. I'm just giving you an example, right? There could be two people, right, having a conversation by a well, and with a stupid accent they use, right? It would be like, you walk past, I didn't know little Timmy was taking water from the well. And then you'll run past. You go back 20 hours later, walk past them. I didn't know little Timmy was collecting water from the well. And every time you go past them, I didn't know little Timmy was water by the well. It drives me absolutely mental. And on top of that, another one. I got another criticism for it. Everyone's saying how great the game is. It's not customizable at all. Clive wears what Clive wears. You can't really change his attire. It's just, there's really not that much to buy. It's a very casual game, and the story it's okay, but it peaked at 2 hours. The opening of the game was the peak impact for the story. After that, it gets a bit, it's the word I'm looking for regarding this, it gets a bit pretentious. It's like the game expects everyone to know everything about the lore, and I feel like it knows that it's paced really badly as a storytelling, because it has this system where you can speak to like a chronicler or a historian, and they'll give you, you can read about the details of everyone and how they're connected to all the events, which tells me the people who made it knew they'd not done a good enough job telling the story, because they haven't, and it just lacks its impact. After the first act, after that 2 hour mark, it fails to ever live up to that, in my opinion. I've not finished it yet, so who knows, maybe, but I've started to care less and less about the characters the more I've played the game. Like I said, the combat is so simplified. The performance of the game, it's fine. I mean, it's, you know, you get like around 60 when you're in combat on performance mode, and it's like clearly 30 when you're exploring. It's all right. You know what I'm saying? You unlock new spells and new things as you progress, but ultimately they're all pretty much the same. You know, you get, whether you're using lightning or fire or titan ability or whatever, they're all really just different sort of skins on the same move a lot of the time. You know what I mean? So it's okay. I wouldn't say it's great. Often as well, I don't know if it's just a JRPG thing, but the dialogue is so cheesy. You know, the way people speak, you wouldn't speak. It's very theatre. And I'm not sure if that's by design, but it's just very theatre and very dramatic how everyone speaks. And I can't really take it that seriously, if I'm honest. So that's it. But yeah, be careful, be mindful. If you're sort of got a predisposition to repetitive strain injury, the speed and franticness it wants you to jam the square button is going to cause you problems. Like, I now shit myself every time I head into a battle. Every time a battle comes up, I'm like, oh God. I'm dreading it because I know it's just going to be me doing this for 5 minutes. And that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? So, that's Final Fantasy. Just be careful, because it's going to cause old people like me some damage, alright?